a demon inside of you. Then it talks to you. Then it tells you, don't do that. You're crazy. Go ahead, do it. Don't do it. It's in control. And you know something? 97% of the time, the damn thing wins. It does. And I don't care how sophisticated you are. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how religious you are. I don't care about any of those things. Paradigm is in control. It's been programmed right into the cells in your being. Stop and think of how you got here. Little particle of energy from mom, little particle of energy from dad comes swimming along. They were in resonance, and that is the nucleus of you. And then for 280 days, an attractive force went to work. And all of mom's DNA and all dad's DNA, where'd their DNA come from? Well, their mother and their dad, where did they go from? Their mothers and their dad. God knows how far back this goes. You're the product of other people. You're the confluence of thinking that goes back to God knows how far. That's who you are. That's why you look like you do. That's why you got the hair you've got. That's why you're the height you are, the weight you are. That's why your foot is wide or narrow. That's not programmed into us. Then 280 days later, we make our debut on the planet. And we become programmed by the people we're surrounded by. This is real. And you're not going to get it in school. Because the teachers don't know it. Look. This is really a black or white deal. It doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how many hours you put in. If the paradigm doesn't change, ultimately results remain the same from one year to the next. That's why people go right through their life living much the same as their parents and their grandparents and their great-grandparents. Nothing changes. Just as prejudiced, bigoted, ignorant from one generation to the next. You must alter the paradigm if you desire to improve your results. Well, companies and individuals operate with paradigms. Countries operate with paradigms. Families have paradigms. To be able to shape your future, though, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. How are you all? Yeah, the image had frozen. There was a reason I am here. Can you see me and can you hear me? Let me know in the chat if you can see me and hear me well. Just let me know that in the chat, and we will kick today's session off. So yeah, do let me know in the chat if you can see me and hear me well. And I'm so proud of you for all the work that you have been doing, all the work that you've been putting in the group. I am so, so proud and so grateful actually to you to do the work, because that's when it starts changing everything, right? Everything starts shifting when you start making a decision that I want to be different. I want to get different results. And when you start applying that knowledge, that's exactly when the things will shift in your life. So please let me know in the chat if you can hear me and see me. That would be wonderful. That would be really helpful for me. But also, can you see how fear really creates mess in a life? Can you see that? That fear is just something psychological. It is something which we have made. It's not something real. You know, you're believing in something which you can't see. And same is with faith. You can believe in something which you can't see as well, but redirect your energy into faith. You know, there's so many people who did the work yesterday. They probably sent me DM'd as well, right? The videos and all. And I'm so proud, because that's when the confidence starts building in. Confidence, yes, you do need knowledge. You do need all of that. But confidence actually starts happening, and you start believing in yourself more when you actually start doing the work. So it is so, so important for you to actually apply whatever you have been learning. You apply that. Whatever you learn with us through the whole week, right? We're on day 4 today, and I've got a surprise for you. And you start applying everything, because that's when the things will shift. Otherwise, ask yourself, why are you here? Your time is precious. My time is precious. Everyone's time is precious. If you're on this call today, there is a reason for that. You have been with us for the whole 4 days, and we still continue until Sunday. And there's a reason, because you're not getting the results you want. So I'm giving you everything. So apply that in your life. Thank you for telling me that you can hear me. I'm not just simply talking to a blank screen here. So that is really good to know. Okay. So I've got a question for you. I love this quote, by the way. This quote is something which I remind myself all the time, because no matter where you get to in life, you will always need certain reminders. And I'm going to read this to you. So this is by Dr. Kenneth Blanchard. And he says there's a difference between being committed and interested in creating the life we want, right? So again, I'm going to repeat it. There's a difference between being interested in creating the life we want and being committed. When we are interested, we do what's convenient to us. But when we are committed, we do whatever it takes. And that's what I've been telling you. You have to be 100% in. Otherwise, it's just wishful thinking. It's just daydreaming. Like even in Think and Grow Rich, Earl Nightingale says that, right? If you're just doing daydreaming is not going to get you anywhere. It's good for imagination, of course. But after that, it's not going to get you anywhere in life until you are really committed. So let me know in the chat, are you committed? Are you interested? Are you just here to gain some knowledge, information, or you're really committed to do whatever it takes? Because that is the key. You want to be committed in life, whatever you desire, because otherwise nothing is going to happen. So you need to tell me and ask yourself, do I want to live in my past, or do I want to live in my future now? Do I want to live in anxiety, or do I want to live in peace? Am I going to do things out of my comfort zone, or am I just going to sit in my comfort zone? Am I just going to gain more knowledge and information from the prison of my mind? Because someone asked me yesterday, I know it all. Why are my results not shifting? Because you're doing everything, but you're doing it from your level of awareness. You're still doing everything from your conditioning, your programming. And for you to change, you have to change your programming and conditioning. And that is why it is so, so important to make that committed decision that I'm not just interested in changing my life, I'm committed. And today I'm going to share my story with you, that when I made a committed decision, there are decisions in life and they're committed decisions, right? Successful people make decisions very quickly, like this, right? And they change them very slowly. That is the top 3% in the world. 97% people in the world, what do? They make their decisions very slowly. They take their time. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll think about it. I'm going to sleep over it. They take 1 day, 2 day, 1 week. 1 week becomes 1 month. 1 month becomes 1 year. And then they find themselves again and again in the same spot. So they take a long time to make a decision. And they change them very quickly. So that's one of the differences between successful people who really make it in the life and who do not. The other thing is, there's no other thing. You have to make a committed decision. And today I'm going to share my story with you. And you will see when you make that committed decision, the universe will meet you there. Today I was on one of the calls with my clients and I was talking to them in the morning. And I was like talking to them about how you need to be audacious in your thinking, really be audacious, have the audacity to think big in life. Because when you start thinking big, then you need to also match your identity with that. But first start thinking big, because you're not here to just settle in life. We are not here to just live an ordinary life. Do you really believe that God has sent you to live an ordinary life or to live an extraordinary life? So if you are 100% committed, type in the chat and let me know. I am 100% committed. No matter what happens, I am 100% in. Because when you're 100% in, the universe listens to you very loud and clear. The universe is like, oh, she or he is serious in what they want. And if you are serious, then the universe will start showing you the way. Until then, there will be no way. Why? Because you're just daydreaming. You're not serious. Think about it. If a child was not serious, will you take them seriously? If your partner was not serious, will you take them seriously? No. You'll only take them seriously when they are serious about something. So if you're not serious, how do you expect the universe to take you seriously in life. So it's so important for you to be 100% committed. I always say, and I actually did a story before this as well. You're either 100% in or you're 100% out. There is no 90%. There is no 85%. There is no 99%. You're either in or you're out. And I think when you go with that mindset that I'm 100% in, then you'll have to do things. So that's what it is. Well done. And that's a promise to yourself. When you start saying, I'm in now, no matter what happens, I'm just in, life will start showing up from that place for you. That's happened for me. That happens for everyone who makes a committed decision. But it all starts with making a committed decision. Like I always say, it's not about being interested. Who wouldn't be interested? Everyone is interested in a better life. But does everyone get that? No. They only get it when they become 100% committed. And that's the difference. Today, I have a surprise for you. I have someone with me who I'm so proud of because they made a decision in their lives that they're going to make a change. I know I can say it for myself. I was sick and tired when I started doing this work, and I was really sick and tired of the results I had myself, right? So I have somebody today I'm going to invite them who's transformed their life, who's transforming their lives as well. They're in the process of doing it, but they've already got amazing results. And the way they respond to life is very different. So actually, I'm not going to say anymore. I am just going to call them. So Tanisha, do you want to maybe unmute yourself and bring your
Hi,
camera on?
hi,
Cool.
can you see me?
So
Hear me?
maybe just introduce yourself to everyone.
Hi, I'm Tanisha, and I am from Align and Shine Coach, and I help women feel safe to rise. So I am a manifestation coach, helping women reclaim their power and their beauty. But yeah, I've been working with Gagan, I think, for about a few months now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tanisha, my question to you is, can everyone see Tanisha? Yeah, they can. Everyone can see Tanisha. Okay. So Tanisha, what I'm going to do is, thank you for introducing yourself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and then why don't you guide us through all of this? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that feels fine.
Okay, cool.
Good.
So my first question to you is, where were you in your life when you decided that enough is enough? I want to make a change in my life. I think I want to know more about that. What was it for you that you made that decision that, where were you before you started working with this or started doing this material or doing all of this work?
So I think I was in a place in my life where I was very much losing hope. And if I'm completely honest, I was ready to give up and walk away from my business and just go back to the day job and go back to the corporate world, which pained me as well, but I couldn't see another way. I couldn't see a way forward. I didn't understand why things weren't working for me. So I felt like I knew so much, the work that I do, I understand, and I could speak to people in my world about how to transform their lives. But when it came to my own world, nothing was changing for me. And I was always busy. I was always like my time capacity, like I was doing things all day, but felt very underwhelmed by the end and didn't really know what I had achieved. But, and if in the audience, you're here because you've got a goal. So when you have this vision in your head and you want it so much, but you're so far from it and you don't understand how to get there, that's where I was at. It was very overwhelming. I couldn't see the way. I couldn't see the way there, if that makes sense. So it was, I was ready to walk away. And I think, when we had those conversations, I was just like, it's either this or I'm done, because I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
So was that the point in your life that you made a decision that, I just do not know what to do anymore? Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I think you came in at that time and I was just like, yeah, okay, because is this all I don't know what else. So that was it for me.
Good. Okay, thank you for sharing that. So now, what results did you start getting when you started? Because you're still doing it, like like you're in the midst. So what results did you start getting, or what started changing for you? I think that's my question. What started changing for you, and what results did you start getting in your life?
So it was quite instant for me. I don't know if you remember. I think in the first 10 days, my priority was like building my Instagram, and I think I had like in 10 days I got like 4,000 new followers. I was getting DMs about people who wanted to work with me. But since starting working with you, I just feel like there's this belief and spark that's come back in me. If that's one thing, I know that's how I feel, and my emotions have changed, my vibration has changed. I am getting clients from across the world, and one of my clients is a professor in psychology, so in Switzerland. So I am finally getting clients, which has just never happened. It wasn't happening. There was nothing coming through.
And how long were
Um,
you in this business for? Like, when it was not happening?
oh, 2 years, 2 years of being on Instagram and
Okay.
constantly trying. I think what really changed, I noticed that the type of audience and the tribe and the people that were coming into my world were interested in working with me. And there's other things that, when I said I didn't know the way, what I meant by that is there's so many ideas that I had in my mind, like a membership, um, creating a website, and even creating a course. I just was freezing, and I just couldn't put pen to paper. And so I've now created a membership. I think I'm like 4 or 5 modules into my course, recording it. I've been doing the work for that. These are things that might seem quite small, but I was so stuck that I couldn't even create a course or a membership. I just was in so much fear of failure, that I wouldn't even put pen to paper. So those have been some things that have really, changed for me.
That's really actually very good. Can you just expand on a little bit about, you know, what is it that, of course you've got more belief, you've got more confidence
Mhm.
that you're showing up, you're doing the work. Well, how has that impacted your life? Not just your business. I want to know that because I
Oh,
think,
yes.
yeah,
The ripple effect has been, crazy, because not only was me giving up on my business, my health was deteriorating, the resistance, and, resistance, how it shows up in your body is fear. And also I was, I think I was slightly into depression. My mood, I couldn't see the beauty in the world anymore. My relationships weren't, I didn't have that zest of life, and I wasn't excited about things. My health and my relationships and my friendships weren't also there. So those things weren't really working for me either. And it's fun. It's just had this whole ripple effect of like this. I was walking through with like this grey tint on my world, and I just didn't feel happy, if that makes sense.
yes,
um but also for me, it's just how to handle such this is not just about business. It's, how you handle every single situation, and when you walk into a room, and the way that you see the world, that all has an impact on the way your whole world and your life comes to existence, and then also your business. So, the things that I've learned through it, the perception, how do you perceive things? Wow, that's just changed my world. Like, family, friendships, everything has changed, and I have my power back.
yeah.
I mean, I have my power back, and that's huge for me.
I think that's what I feel as well. You know how for life we kind of give the power to the outside world,
Yeah.
to the outside thing. It's the economy, or it's the kids, it's my partner, it's my health, and all of that, and or your past. Like I'm going to share my story later on, or it's my past, and all of those things. We just keep giving up power away. But I really feel it's taking that control back and not reacting to life. It's like you're not responding to life, right? You're operating the life from inside out. I think that's something that has been a major part for my life, actually.
Yeah, it's like you've got this walking toolkit. That's
Yeah.
what this has given me. And this is what I mean by, like, I knew all of these things, but I wasn't applying anything. I probably knew so much, I was overwhelmed. And it's so simple but powerful, like making a decision, how powerful making a decision really is. And you just mentioned, but that really there's so much that's transformational, but it's so powerful in the way. I think the way we work through it is powerful.
Can I actually ask you one question? Because a lot of people think they have the knowledge, which you had, right? You
Yeah.
had the knowledge. Like, they were the concepts that you have already learned. You are already a coach yourself. So kind of you knew
Mhm.
the stuff already. And I get this when I work with a lot of coaches as well, that they already know stuff, whether they're coaches or like, I know, I've been listening to podcasts, I read books, I'm a lot in personal development, but things are
Yeah.
not shifting. And that's what I want to ask you. Like, what would be your advice to those people? Like, because there's a lot of people who are into personal development, but they don't get results. Why is it that they do not get results? And why is it that, when you start changing your paradigm, you start getting results? Like, why is it?
It's the paradigm, and it's making that committed decision. And the reason why I've done courses, okay, previous to this, I've not had transformation. I've not had the transformation in my life like I have with this. And I think it's the way in which that, you work with us. If I'm completely honest, the touch points that we have, there's so many touch points that we're held accountable, and you feel held and safe and supported through this. And the doing comes into play in this whole program, which you're not doing. There's that huge gap in that world. And I think for me, knowing so much, I was in my ego very much. And I think it really, coming into this, has really allowed me to look at myself and who I really am and what I believe to be true about myself at a much deeper level. We all do shadow work and surface work, but this is so much more deeper than that. And I think doing it whilst working with a community of people who are all really big dreamers, and then also you're there holding us accountable, and the action taking, we move in this space, and if we don't, we'll hear from you. And I love that. And I said that when I joined, I was like, I need someone to come in and challenge me, because I don't have that in my world, and no one understands my vision. No one really cares. You get it, you care, you're a dreamer. You get it, you get that, we have this big vision, you have it. So I think being in a space with other people who really want this and want to, I hope that answers your question in some context. Yeah.
My one more last question to you. I don't want to
That's
ask you
okay.
loads of questions, but just one. And I think it's just for the benefit of people. What would you say to the version of you who didn't believe change was possible? I think because for me, that was a big thing for 42 years of my life, that change is not possible.
Yeah.
And this is my life. I accepted it. I lived by that day in, day out. Although I was stuck, I was crying, but that's what I felt, that this is my life. So I want to ask you that what advice would you give to that version of you who believed maybe change was not possible? Like you said, you were about to go back to your job. You were
Yeah.
like, this is not working. So what advice would you now give to that version? Although it's not been a long time, it's just been a couple of months.
I would just say, I would say to myself, just take a bet on yourself. I wish I'd found you sooner, but I think, there was learning through my own journey there. But I would say take a bet on your life. There's always an opportunity to change. Every day is a chance to change. And, I was lucky and grateful enough for, a way to come forward for me. Like, you came into my life, and it was up to me to make a decision, and it was a big decision to make, but oh my gosh, it's been outstanding how transformational it has been for me in my personal world. And everyone who notices a different in me can see a spark back in my face. And I would just say, just believe that things are going to get better. They can get better. I would just say there's always an opportunity, Tanisha. There's never, this isn't it, but think bigger, dream bigger. The dream has been planted in you for a reason. And I think, the universe, it's always showing you a way. Take a bet.
100%. I agree with that. And if we want, I always say, who's going to bet for us if we can't bet on ourselves?
Mm-mm.
Is there anything else, Tanisha, that you want to say? I do not know, like, that's coming through you, I would say, not to you, but, coming through you that you would like to say, or any piece of advice you want to give out to anyone.
I would say that, I think as an individual and talking to other people who have come on the journey on thinking into results with you, it's funny, I talk to them and we realize how similar we are in our ways of thinking, of that we feel quite misunderstood with our big dreams. And in our personal worlds, no one really understands this yearning we have for it and how much it really means for us, and what it would mean for us not to accomplish that dream and get to, if you talk to your 90-year-old self and you didn't take that bet, what would that mean for you? And so I think that feeling of like feeling misunderstood when you're a big dreamer and wanting something so different from maybe the circles that you're in, which also change, I think, with working with you, because everything shifts, everything changes. You start putting yourself into new places. And yeah, that's one thing I would say, is that there's a space for you if you're feeling called here, because yeah, it is possible. There's magic and miracles when you start working, you start doing this work, and you start seeing miracles every single day. And that's definitely happened for me. And yeah, I'm so glad that I've moved forward, because life feels good.
Good.
I'm really excited about life. I wake up, I'm just like, let's do this. And 7 a.m. calls, like, that's just I'm very, it just changes your vibration for the day. So yeah, that's what I would say. So
Oh,
I hope that
thank you.
helps.
And thank you for sharing, because I think we all feel that we don't feel this change is possible. We don't feel that there is something out there for us, but and we get so caught up. And I think that's why I wanted to invite you to kind of just
Mhm.
tell, like, you're just you're not even done completely. You're
No,
just maybe not even halfway through. You're not even
no,
halfway through. So, how do you feel, and how someone can actually take that bet on themselves and be like, you know what, no, change is possible. I think that's the biggest thing for me, for people to
yeah,
feel actually change is possible. We do not have to accept what's happening in our life and just settle for that. Change is
no.
possible and we can achieve that. I think that's the biggest thing for myself. Thank you so much,
Okay,
Tanisha. I
thank
know,
you,
thank you so
Lois.
much for taking time out.
A
Really, really
pleasure.
appreciate it.
Cool.
Guys, I am so grateful to you all also for listening to this and everything. So really, really grateful. Now, I want to share a little bit about myself. But before I do that, I want to just tell you that there is a link in the chat, not in the chat, but maybe in the description, to book a call. And this call is for you. This call is not for me. This call is not for my team. This actually is for you. And I'm inviting you to book this call, because on this call, I've not had a chance to talk to you. So it will be either be myself or my team who you will book a call with. But and the reason I'm saying that to book a call is because, first of all, we've only got very few spots. We are only opening it for 2 days. And we've got 400 people who have registered for this event. So people are watching recordings, and they will book the call as well. And you can just imagine, we can't fit in everyone's call. So they will be on, that not first come first basis, but yeah, actually kind of that. So do book a call. But as I said, this call is not for us. This call is for you, for us to understand where you are right now in your life, where you want to go, and what is stopping you. So we will just show you what is stopping you to get there in life. And if we think that we can help you, support you, then we'll probably show you how. Otherwise, we won't even show you that we can help you, because we can't help everyone. I'll be honest with you, but if we really think that we can help you, we will be like, yes, we can. So I would say definitely book a call. The link is in the description, and you will also get the link later on. But do book it, because as I said, we've only got 2 days of this. So tomorrow and day after, Friday, Saturday, we have some spots. So do make sure that you book your calls, because as I said, on this call, only 4 things: where you are currently, where do you want to go, so we can give you that clarity, what is stopping you from getting there, and so we can show you which paradigm. So maybe you're thinking it's XYZ. I do not know, but I can then tell you exactly this is the paradigm that is stopping you from getting where you want to be in life. And then if we think we are the right fit, or we can help you to get there, we will tell you. Otherwise, we'll be like, that's fine. And if you want to do it by yourself, that's absolutely fine by us as well. So think about it. The worst come worst, it will be the best 60 minutes of your life with me on the call. That's it, like where I can show you. There is no pressure. There is nothing. It's up to you. So do book a call. So let us know if you're in the chat, if you are in. But I definitely want to share my story with you, because is that okay? I want to show you how I used to think. How do I think differently? And maybe you will resonate with it. I want to share a little bit of my own story, because we've been together for the past 4 days, and I've learned a little bit about you. You guys have been sharing your homework with me, and I think it's just fair enough that I share a little bit of story with you. Would you like to know, who I was, what I felt when I was probably on that side of the screen, and where I was stuck in my life? I didn't believe life I could change. I really did not believe that there was change possible. Chetna, the link is in the description of the YouTube, but the link will also be sent to you in the WhatsApp group. So keep an eye definitely for that. So yeah, I just want to share with a little bit about myself, and how I'm going to share that is by reading a story to you, because many of us might resonate with that story of a fly. I'm not sure if you've heard that story, but this fly is me, Gagan, and maybe for you, it's you. So just a small short story. And so yeah, there's a small fly burning out, last of its shot, life's energies in a futile attempt to fly through the glass of a window pane. The winding wing tells the poignant story of the fly's strategy: try harder, try harder. But it's not working. The frenzied effort offers no hope for survival. Ironically, the struggle is a part of that trap. It is impossible for the fly to try hard enough to succeed at breaking through that glass. Nevertheless, this little tiny insect has staked its life on reaching its goal through raw effort and determination. This fly is doomed to die. It will die there on the windowsill, across the room, 10 steps away. The door is open, 10 seconds of flying time, and this small creature could reach the outside world it seeks, with only a fraction of the effort now being wasted. It could be free of its self-imposed trap. The breakthrough possibility is there. It would be easy, so easy. But why doesn't the fly try another approach? Something dramatically different. How did it get so locked in the idea that this is the particular route, and determined effort offers the most promise for success? What logic is there in continuing until death to seek a breakthrough with more of the same? No doubt this approach makes sense to the fly. Regrettably, it's an idea that will kill. Trying harder isn't necessarily the solution to achieving more. It may not offer any real promise for getting what you want out of life. Sometimes, in fact, it's a big part of the problem. If you stake your hopes for a breakthrough on trying harder than ever, you may kill your chances of success. Isn't this a beautiful story? But how is this story related to all of us? How is the story related to me? Have you ever seen the fly really go buzz on that windowsill, on that window, and it just dies there? And it is so stuck. It's trying. It's trying really hard to get past that, but it cannot. This glass is so strong, but it can't see that there is a window right there. The door right there, sorry, just literally some centimeter yards away. It cannot see. Why? Because it is stuck like we are all stuck in our life. And that was me. I was stuck like that. I was trying so hard for a breakthrough, but nothing was happening. Nothing at all was happening in my life. I was a teacher. At that point in my life, I was going through fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue. 9 years of chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. And I was in pain. Every morning I would wake up in pain. Every night I would sleep in pain. And I would go to work and I'm trying to meet the ends. And nothing is working. I also tried to do another yoga course so I could bring some more money in, because I was literally living paycheck to paycheck. It like barely making it, right? And on the top, my health was really bad. And at that point, actually, I realized how I had really suppressed my traumas of life. So I went through a lot of trauma in my life, went through sexual trauma when I was young, not to anyone's fault, but that was what I went through. I was very much loved by my parents. I was very much loved by my family. I always make it clear because they were not even aware what was happening in my life. And no one even was aware until very, very late because I did not was aware. Like I knew about it, what happened and everything. It kept on going in my life, but I kept suppressing that. I really kept suppressing all of that. And that manifested in my life in form of fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue. And when I started doing work on myself, and we all do, we all work on ourselves. But what I want to tell you is how I felt stuck. I felt so stuck because on the outside, my life was perfect. Married, 2 kids, got a nice job, everything. Everyone thought my life was really good. Like I'm from India, so everyone, I live abroad, everything. And I would never go back and tell my family because they were too far. It was too much pain for me to discuss anything that I'm living paycheck to paycheck or anything. I just could not. And I come from a very wealthy family. So it's not that my parents struggled with money or not. I come from a really sound background. But when I came here, my life really turned upside down. And I'm struggling and I'm struggling. It was like this fly on that windowsill going bzzz, literally trying every single day to survive. I was in survival mode for good, I would say, 18 years of my life in this country. And when I was there, so for 40 plus years, I was living a life of pain, inside, outside, everywhere. And because I was in so much pain internally, I had such low self-esteem, self-image about myself. I saw myself as a victim of life. And because I saw myself as a victim of life, everything met me at that place. I just thought, life is hard. Life is very hard. I really believe that so true in every cell of my body because it was hard for me, right? Someone who goes through sexual traumas of life and then financial difficulties. And then, I was also the third daughter in my house, we are a family of, I've got 3 more siblings. So I've got 2 sisters and a brother. But I was the third daughter. So, although my parents, again, I very much always say that my parents loved me, my family really loved me, but a child doesn't know the difference, right? Remember when I showed you the conscious and the subconscious? I didn't have the conscious mind. So anytime my friends or anyone in extended family would make fun that, your parents found you in a farm and they just brought you home, I believe that to be true. Why? Because I didn't have a conscious mind to reject any idea. And when an idea is repeated again and again, you accept it. So I accepted that I was not wanted. And because I accepted I was not wanted, and then you go through sexual traumas of life, what do you believe about yourself? You believe you're not good enough. Why? Because no one wanted you. You're not good enough. That's why you're going through all of this. And then even if I changed country, all of that came with me here. Why? Because then it was not the sexual trauma, but it started coming in financial trauma of life, right? So no matter where I was in my life, no matter where, whether it was India, whether it was UK, no matter whether I was in my teaching career, whether I was something doing else, all of these things, these beliefs, these behaviors, my self-image mainly followed me everywhere. And I'm still trying hard, like this fly, trying to break through. Do you think I got my breakthrough? No, I did not. Eventually I got. But when I was trying so hard, and that's why when Bob said to me, there is only one problem, it's you, and you're the only solution. And I said to my mentor, Bob Proctor, but I do not have the money, right? And he said, you don't need the money. You need a decision to work on yourself. And I was like, yeah, I can make a decision. And then he said, but are you interested in getting a better life? Are you committed? And I was like, no, I was 100% committed. I was done, guys. I didn't tell you one part. I was also very much in anxiety in my life. 3 times, ambulances wheeled me from my teaching job in a school to the hospital because they were losing me at one point. Because I was so anxious in life. I have gone through major anxiety. And all of that was me, not very long ago, just a few years ago. Full of trauma, full of anxiety. Remember, I showed you anxiety. What is happening? Because I was living in fear. I was always in fear. When my doctor asked me, what is your biggest fear when I had fibromyalgia? I was like, I'm 30 and I cannot walk. I fear what is my life going to be when I'm 60. right? I will be in bed. Like how I could not comprehend that as a 30-plus-year-old, I cannot move my body. I would sit on steps of the chair, I'm saying, of the house, right? Stairs, step by step, sitting on them, climbing. I could not walk up. That was me, right? And all of that, why? Because there was so much doubt and worry. Of course, first of all, I had the really wrong self-image about myself. I had a mistaken identity. And that's why I'm so looking forward to our lesson on Sunday, because it will break your myths, so many myths about yourself. Because all of this, I had this self-image of victim. I'm always the sick one. I'm not wanted. That was myself. That was my opinion about myself. Life is always happening to me. All of that was my opinion about myself. And because all of that was my opinion about myself, life met me there, right? So it's not that, oh, life is happening to me. No, it was meeting me where I was vibrationally. If you've heard of law of attraction, law of vibration, yes, every law is true, because I was vibrating in doubt, worry. I am not good enough. I am, victim of life, all of that. Life was meeting me right there. And that's why I had so much anxiety in my life, because all of that, like I showed you, doubt and worry, fear will move into anxiety. And that's exactly what happened with me until I really understood how the mind was working, until I understood, oh, this is what I need to do to heal myself. This is what I need to do to change my results of life. I can't keep sitting in the past, because for 40-plus years, I sat in the past. For 42 years, I'm trying to break through from my prison wall, like, of course, and like, I was reading, I was listening, I was doing everything which I could, but I was not able to break through that. Why? Because I was still doing everything from the prison of my own mind. My level of awareness was not there, what Bob's level of awareness was. And that is why when he said, Gagan, your way is not working, why don't you try mine? And I was like, that is so true. My way is actually not working. And when I think spoke to him for the first time, I was 42 plus. I'm 48 today. So yeah, it was just after 40 to 43. And he said, so you've tried something for 40 to 43 years of your life. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, your way is clearly not working. And I was like, yeah, it's not really working. So he said, why don't you try mine? And I was like, that does make sense, because my way is clearly not working. Why? Because I was living with this mistaken identity of who I am. I was living with this whole thing of, who am I? And when I started learning about who I truly am, I'm going to read a letter that I read, which was very, very powerful. Is that okay by you? Because it's going to help you. So in this letter, if I find that letter now, that will be amazing. I will find that letter. I found this letter from God. Do not ask me who is it from. I actually have no clue. But because I was in this state when I read this letter, it made so much, I cried and I cried, because honestly, I used to cry a lot. I still, I think that's a very good way of releasing, but I used to cry in pain, not just in body pain, because I was mentally in pain. I was emotionally in pain because I was trying so hard and nothing was moving for me, nothing at all. But then I came across this letter, and I love reading this letter to everyone because I think you will resonate with it. So it's a letter between God and me. It's written by someone, not me, of course. And it says, God says hello. And the person says, I'm falling apart. Can you put me back together? God says, I would rather not. Me, why? God, because you aren't a puzzle. Me, what about all of the pieces of my life that are falling down onto the ground? God, let them stay there for a while. They fell off for a reason. Take some time and decide if you need any of those pieces back. Me, you don't understand. I'm breaking down. God, no, you don't understand. You're breaking through. What you are feeling are just growing pains. You're shredding the things and the people in your life that are holding you back. You aren't falling apart. You're falling into place. Relax. Take some deep breaths and allow those things you don't need anymore to fall off you. Quit holding on to the pieces that don't fit you anymore. Let them fall off. Let them go. Me, once I start doing that, what will be left of me? God, only the very best pieces of you. Me, I'm scared of changing. God, I keep telling you, you aren't changing, you are becoming. Becoming who? God, becoming who I created you to be. a person of light and love and charity and hope and courage and joy and mercy and grace and compassion. I made you for more than the shallow pieces you have decided to adorn yourself with, that you cling to with such greed and fear. Let those things fall off you. I love you. Don't change. Become who I made you to be. I'm going to keep telling you this until you remember it. Me, there goes another piece. God, yep, let it be. So I'm not broken? God, of course not. But you aren't breaking like the dawn. It's a new day become. And I absolutely love this because it's so true. And I was talking to my clients today on one of the calls, and we were talking about self-image, and we were really going deep. And I'm going to talk to you about this as well, because I think it will help you, although we will dig deeper on self-image. But don't you think we have labeled ourselves with so many things which are not true to us? We have so many things that we have told ourselves, the lies, that this is who I am, this is who I am, this is my truth of life. Like I did, right? I said I'm a victim of life. I saw myself, this is what I'm good for, just the abuse. And I'm not joking, this was who I really felt at that point, that I'm just good enough for this. I'm not good enough for anything else in my life. I don't deserve anything better. But that was the wrong story I was telling myself all the way until I understood what I was doing. Until I, came into this material and that changed my life. I was telling myself that story. That's me, that's me, that's me. And that's why I was getting that in my life. And that's why I'm asking you to book this call, because you're not broken. And that's what I've been telling you from day one. You are not broken, because that is such a relief that I'm actually not broken. I don't need fixing. And that's why I want to tell you, you're not broken. You do not need fixing. You just need to reprogram your programming. You just need to change the way you see yourself. You need to change your self-image about yourself. So I am really asking you to book that call, because you will gain something out of that call. That's me giving back to the community for what I have become in my life. And that is how I want to help others. And yes, like I said, on that call, it's all about you. It's not about us. It's not about me. It's not about my team. It's not about anything. It's about you. Where do you want to go? Do you really know where you want to go? What is holding you back from getting where you want to go? What paradigm is controlling you? That's what I want to share with you. And then, yes, if we think we can help you, of course we will tell you. Otherwise, no, we can't help you. I remember there was a call, someone booked with me, and I was very honest. No, I don't think it's a good fit. I don't think we can, because, yeah. So book that call for yourself. That's, again, right? There's a difference between being interested and being committed. For 42 plus years, I was just interested in my life getting better. That's why I expected my husband to make it better for me. I expected the outside world to make it better for me. But when I made a decision that I'm going to take responsibility of my life, I'm going to take control of my life, where I am, where I want to be, that's when things started shifting for me. When I made that 100% commitment to myself, to my life, because I was done. Guys, I can't tell you how done I was. And I'm not telling this to impress you, but to impress upon you that if change is possible for me, if change is possible for so many people out there, change is possible for you as well. You do not have to live like this, how you're living today. You do not have to accept. There is a way out there waiting for you. The only thing you have to do is make a committed decision. I remember when I made the committed decision, to be honest, that was way before even I started doing, not way before, maybe in a month, just a month before, when I think it was COVID time or something. And I was like, you know what, I'm done with all of this. And I'm going to heal myself. That was the first decision I made, a committed decision. Even before I wanted to change my financial situation, I made the decision, I'm going to heal myself, right, out of this fibromyalgia, because it was really taking my life away. It was really sucking everything out of me. And when I made that committed decision, things started showing up in my life. I came across Marissa Peer. I became a hypnotherapist, and then I was like, okay, now I've healed myself. Now I want to change my physically, right side by side was working with Bob Proctor as well. So those things happened very immediately for me. Before that, I didn't even know who these people, I knew about them, but I did, just a little bit, right? But the universe brought everything to me. Why? Because I made that committed decision. But when we do not make a committed decision, the universe doesn't take you seriously. No one's going to take you seriously. Are you going to take yourself seriously? Tell me. And if you cannot take yourself seriously, and if you can't make that decision that I want to move away from that life of pain, life of fear, life of anxiety, life of living how you're living, being stuck, then don't expect it from others. I'll be honest with you, because I waited for years and nothing shifted until I made that decision to shift in my life. So I'm asking you to make that decision for yourself, to do it for yourself, not for anyone, for yourself. And that's why I've been, like, by the way, everything is going out. So thank you for sending me your addresses. If you have not sent me your address yet, do send it to me, because everything is going out tomorrow. So please do send me your addresses. But today I'm asking you to book that call. Every day I've been asking you to do something. Today is for you to not even book a call. I think first is to make a decision. Do I want to change? Do I want a better life? I think that's the first thing I want you to make a decision. Am I going to live like this? Even before you make that, click the link, I want you to make that decision with yourself. Do I want to? Am I ready? Do I want to do that for myself? Do I want to? Am I committed in changing my life? Or am I just wishing? Because if you're just wishing, I'll be honest, what can you expect more in your life? That's just daydreaming. You need to be 100% committed. So first make a decision. That's what I did. I made a decision first that I'm done living like this. And when I made that decision, a committed decision, I'm done living like this. I do not want to live a life of trauma. I do not want to live a life of, living my life from paycheck to paycheck, feeling stuck, feeling that I'm not good enough, I'm not wanted. I do not want that in my life. I want to make things happen for myself, for my family. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to heal myself. That was I remember that statement I said to myself, I'm going to heal myself. That was my statement to myself. I did not know how at that point. I did not know how, even when I left my teaching career. I even didn't tell you that. When I left my teaching career, that was like this. I made a decision. Yes, I worked hard for 1 year, completely, getting everything off the ground with my business and with everything. But I had made my decision even before I left that I'm leaving. So your decision comes first. Your resources, whether it's money, whether it's any other resources, they all will come later. First is the decision that I want to change. So let me know in the chat if you're ready that I am done and I want to make a change. Just write 100% commitment. I'm 100% committed, or the decision made. Write in the chat that I am done, right? I'm 100% committed. So I want you to make that decision for yourself, not for me, not for anyone else, for yourself, that I'm doing this for me. I'm going to make, I'm just going to book this call for myself. I'm going to make a decision that I'm going to change my life. I want to know which paradigms are stopping me. If nothing, as I said, at least you'll get that from the call, right? That what is stopping me? So be 100% committed. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And that's what I want you all to do. Be 100% committed. And I love that. By the way, tomorrow, guys, get ready. After our call, we will move on to Zoom, right? That call won't be recorded. And if you're watching this recording I want you to be there tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to talk about money. After we talk about money, we are going to move on to Zoom, because I do understand you might have a lot of questions. You might have questions that you want to ask me. You might have questions about whatever you have learned. How can you implement that? Whatever questions you have, bring them on the Zoom. I will be there, but come on the Zoom prepared with your questions that you want to ask me, because you will have me. You can just ask me anything. We won't be on a setting like this. You'll be able to unmute yourself, talk to me. So it will be really kind of very intimate thing. So please make sure that you are on the Zoom tomorrow after a call. So we'll finish by 9 o'clock, and by 9:15, we'll move on to Zoom. So if you want to get a cup of tea, coffee for yourself, or not sure, wine, G&T, whatever you want, bring that on. I'll be there with my water or maybe my green tea, I do not know. So be there on the Zoom so I can answer any of your questions. So that would be really good. And yeah, guys, book that call for yourself. The link is going to go out it is in the description. Not sure why it's not here. And it will also come on the WhatsApp message. It will be there in the emails. It will be everywhere. So book that call. Like I said, it's only 2 days. There are 400 people who have registered for the call. We've only got 2 days, Friday and Saturday. So book that call for yourself. And let me know if, I will know anyway that you booked the calls. And I'll see you there on the call tomorrow, because I want to really show you what is it that's, where do you want to be? What is stopping you? What paradigm? You might think it's this or that, but actually it might be something else. So, let the expert do the job. That's what I do all day long. That's what my job is with my clients. And I love that because it's so good to have them break through for whatever they're going through. That is so powerful. But tomorrow is one of my favorite topics. Who loves talking about money, or who loves listening about money? That's one of my favorite topics, money. If you know me, if you're in my world, if you've been, you know how much I love talking about money. And tomorrow is one of those days when I will really talk about money. So I'm very excited. And I just want you to know, fear is a state of mind, guys. Just a state of mind. Nothing about fear is real. What is real is, of course, your paradigm, what stops you. And the only thing you have to do is change that. And as I said, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. So stop telling yourself that story. Why is it not working? Why is this not working? Why is that not working? And life, like everything in your life is showing you what's happening on the inside. Your results are a true reflection of what is going on the inside. So when you look at your results, do not get too fixated. Take them as a feedback. Okay, this is what's happening. I just need to change. That's how I do. I take them as a feedback in life, nothing more, right? And when you start doing it, you're responding to life. You're not reacting to life then. So that is very powerful. I love taking power back. That's what I love. I love to take my power back and work from that place, because nothing can beat that in life. So I'm so excited for tomorrow. I'm so excited for seeing you all on the calls. I'm so excited for Zoom tomorrow as well, so I can answer all of your questions. So thank you so much for joining. And please, please do book a call. Make that decision that you want to change, because change is waiting for you. Change is possible. Your life is waiting for you. What are you waiting for, right? Don't wait for anyone. Just life is waiting for you. I want you to know. The only thing you have to do is make a committed decision that I'm going all in. I love that. And I love you all. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being such a beautiful audience. Thank you for doing the homework. If you've not sent me, please, please send me your homework. I love that. Yes, life is meant to be beautiful. Life is, it's all about creating an extraordinary life. I believe in that. Not just living a normal life. No, we were meant to live an extraordinary life. So let's do that, right? Why do we need to live a smaller life? No, we're not going to settle in life. No, we're going to go big. And that's what I love being. Have audacity to dream big. Set audacious goals in life. Go think really big. Go after big things. Why waste time for small things? Let's go for big things in life. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you all. I am so grateful. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I'm very grateful to you all, each and every one of you. So I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow, and look forward to seeing you on the calls. Love you all loads. Take care. Remember, we only have got 2 days and we've got 400 people registered. So do not waste time. I think the link will go out at 10 p.m. So make sure that you book your calls. Yes, it's 9, right? So yeah, it was going to go at 10 p.m. Love you all loads. Take care. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care now.